Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to roster individual students in a class that's already been created. One note before we begin is if you are one of our lab schools and you use a rostering system that is synced with Gooru and Math Navigator, you shouldn't need to roster individual students. However, if you've created a class on your own or your system does not sync with ours, then follow these instructions to add students to your class. So the first thing we need to do is get to our roster. So I have my class here, and to get to my roster, I'm going to click the wheel icon to access class settings. So I have two students currently in my class, Vera and Nettie, and I'd like to add a couple more. One thing that we do need to discuss is, in order to be added to your class, your student must have a Gooru account already. So if you look for a student and you search their name and they're not populating in the search, it's very likely that they don't have a Gooru account yet. So please ask your students to make sure they have created a Gooru student account. That way you can search and add them. So I'm going to add a couple of students here, and I'm going to click this plus add students button. So it brings up a search bar, and I have two options. I can search by email address or by username. I find it easiest to search by email address. It's usually the student's school email address, and they don't have the ability to change that. Students can change their usernames over time, so that can be a little trickier in search. So let's do email. So I have a student whose email address I know. I'm going to type that in now. I'm going to press enter or the magnifying glass to search. And here's the user, here's the student, Evelyn. Here's her email address. And to add her, I'm just going to click on the avatar, her little picture here, and I get a check mark. And now I'm going to click add. So I can see Evelyn is at the top of my roster. I'm going to add one more student and then we'll finish up the rostering process. So again, I'm going to click add students. This time I'm going to show you how to use a username for the search as opposed to an email address. So I'm just going to click username. And I have another student whose username I know. Again, I pressed enter, or I can click the magnifying glass. This is the result of my search. I'm going to click on the avatar like I did before. I'll get check marks, and now I can click add. So Evelyn and Sally have been added to my roster. You'll notice that they're above the existing students. That's because I have one more thing that I need to do. So if your students are going to take one of our diagnostics, you can pick any math level or any starting level from the dropdown. It really is just a signal to the system to let the system know that the account is ready to use. If you're not using one of the diagnostics and you'd like to decide where your students start, that's what math level or level means. That's the starting point. So I know Evelyn is going to be starting at 4th grade, and Sally struggles a little bit more, so I'm going to start her back at 2nd grade. Destination is set at grade 5. That's the grade of my class. You can come back and change destination at any time to expand the amount of material your students have available. So now that I've added these two students and I've selected their math level, I'm just going to click this blue Apply Settings button. And I can see now that my students are all in the same roster. There's no line dividing them. That means they're all ready to start working. You can come back at any time to add more students. And if a student leaves your class, you can just turn them from active yes to no.